vibes.
Never could have changed my mind. My father is the most I got, so nobody try waste my time. If I know God, you know me not.
Godly energy. You are listening to Hope 103.1 FM Grenada.
Money talk, money talk. See, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money talk, money talk. It's the money they love. Yo, cause them get caught up in the right thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money blinded. Them a get caught up in the right thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define them. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Money they love, money they crave. Love they have for money, make them turn into a slave. Money they want, that is the aim. Love they have for money, go drive them insane. Is money talk for this, money talk for that. If you say you got no money, them get heart attack. They want to know how much you earn, cause they were part of that. Got to learn to discern, you can't take it back. For them get caught up in the right thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money it blinded. Them a get caught up in the right thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define it. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious.
Yes. Good afternoon, listeners. It's your boy Saint B alongside DJ Saby. And yes, it's the Money Talk. It's another Monday afternoon. Thank God to be in the land of the living. All right, it's the last Monday of the month of April. So the first quarter is coming to an end.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that, Saby. How you doing, my brother?
Well, I just recovering from... I know how to tell it. I just recovered from, a beautiful walk on Saturday.
Yeah, man.
Walking with Hope indeed was awesome, boy. It was awesome.
It was a real blessed experience, man.
The report was good, Many persons shared with me and they said, you know what, we really enjoy the walk, boy. I was like, I mean, I enjoy the walk, but oh gosh, boy, anything enough for you, I should go and practice it.
Yeah, well, that's a sign that you need to do more, man.
Saying me accustomed playing football, so you understand his legs are always working on the football field. So I just started doing a little bonnet in Hope FM with Hope FM
on Wednesdays.
But apparently that was not enough for me to get fit in time for the walk, boy.
Enough.
Then people say I have to say to go up at the playing field and prepare.
Yeah.
So I've been preparing. But apparently that preparation wasn't good enough. So next year I'll make the route shorter.
Nah, you start earlier to prepare.
Yeah, well, I'll start preparing from all now.
Yeah,
Man. Well, blessed good evening to all the listeners of Hoop 103.1 FM. It's always a pleasure and a joy to be here again.
Yeah, definitely.
To start the week talking about the money.
Money thing.
They say the money thing is a funny thing, but the money thing is definitely something you need to know about. It's not funny.
True that.
It's something that we all need to be educated on.
True that.
So, Saint, what's going on? You want to go ahead, man? Go ahead.
Well, guys, for those locked in for the first time, we are currently doing a 3-part series, and this is the final episode of that series, Winning with Money. So for the past 2 Mondays, we've been looking at make, grow, principle, and today we're going to be...
Make, keep.
Make, keep. Wow, again, anxious to deal with that grow, boy. Make, keep, principle.
I feel like you want to grow the money alone, man.
Today we're going to be looking at the grow principle. And we have our beautiful co-host, Mrs. Denisha Daniel, and she has been leading the conversation. Yes, Mrs. Daniel, good afternoon to you.
Mrs. Daniel look bright like a flower today, man.
Yeah, man. She's showing off. She's showing off.
special day.
I had to look good for the final one.
Yeah, I find so. You know, make plenty sense.
Yeah, guys. So Mrs. Daniel, she has been leading the conversation as it relates to winning with money. So, Mrs. Daniel, well, not to be so formal, Denny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Denny, you mind just giving us a little
Re-
rehearse?
yeah, the
You
recap.
know what we would have discussed. The listeners, letting them know what we would have discussed for the past 2 weeks as it relates to making and keeping what you have.
Of course. So, as the gentleman would have stated, we started with make and keep. I didn't say good evening, listeners. It's a pleasure to be here again, and so glad that you guys could join us. So, we began with make and keep. It's very important that we started that way, so you know how to make money first, keep that money. So when we go into grow, you would see the benefits of it because you've built the discipline from the make and keep portions. So what we spoke about, we spoke about multiple streams of income in the first episode that would have been under the make principle. We highlighted 7 different income streams. Just to recap, we spoke about earned income, profit income, interest, dividends, rental, capital, and royalties income. I suggest if these sound new to you, that you jump back to the first episode, which was 2 weeks ago, and you refresh your memory. And we gave some beautiful principles which came from the word of God from one of the richest men that ever lived, King Solomon. Last week, which was my favorite week, interestingly, um, we spoke about the keep principle and all that needs to be done to ensure that what you would have made from what you learned in week one, you're able to keep it. And now, we spoke, sorry, about savings and budgeting, expenditure management, legacy planning, and giving. And then we're going to jump right in this week on how you can grow all of that money.
Wonderful.
Sounds good, guys. So there you have it. Just before we dive into that discussion, Sappy, what are we on? Episode 34?
33, boy.
33?
Yeah,
Wow.
boy. 33.
Yeah,
Episode 33 of the Money Talk.
You know, I look forward to episode 50, 52.
50, 100. You know what I mean? And we have
When
some
we
interesting
make
things.
1 year, man.
Yeah, we have some interesting things in store for you guys in the coming weeks. So look out for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So yes, Danny, we're looking today at the grow principle.
Mhm.
All right, so hit us with it. How can I grow after I make and I keep it? How I can grow it now?
You're just jumping straight into the frying pan. Hold,
Okay, sorry.
hold up a little bit.
The
Yeah.
guy, you see what I was saying, Danny, because he said he can't wait. He told you that from the beginning.
He did.
Acting like if you're taking him by surprise, you know, he just told you that. He can't wait. So he just want to know how to grow the money fast.
All right, let me not be as anxious.
I feel there's some other persons
Let's-
online want to know that question. Want the
let's
answer for
build
that
up, let's
question
build
too.
up,
So
let's
let's go,
build
let's go, let's go.
Let's build, okay?
Yeah,
Let's take
build,
it
let's
slow. So when you guys hear grow, because y'all like to just push me down, like, then you talk. We discussing. Yeah, we discussing. So when you hear grow, just generally, it doesn't necessarily have to mean money. What do you think about?
I think about more.
Okay.
Naturally, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, for me, it's small to big.
Those are beautiful answers, and that's exactly what it is. So you can see why we started off with make first, then keep. We're taking it small and then we're building it. We're taking it small, make sure that it stays, because if you get it and you don't have it, you can't grow it.
Definitely.
So make sure that when we get it, we have it, and then now we're going to grow it. Before I jump in, you guys know I like King Solomon. He was the richest man ever. So if you have to take advice from anybody, I figure it's Jesus and him, right? So there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes. Unfortunately, I didn't reference it, but it spoke about Solomon when he speaks about 7 to 8 ways to diversify your income, because you never know where destruction would hit. I believe it's in Ecclesiastes 11. Which was the central theme for what we would have been speaking about. And basically what he was saying is you diversified, because if destruction comes one way, not all of your money would be eaten away. So it's something, it's an adage that old people would speak about not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's the same principle. If the basket falls, you won't lose all your eggs. You have it somewhere else. So part of the grow principle is being able to diversify your assets. So we're gonna speak about the different ways it can be diversified. But I want you guys to understand that first. We don't just do everything one way. For example, when I was to say Ivan, although Ivan is a good one. When Ivan hit, we know agriculture and real estate were completely destroyed. If all of your investments were in those areas, you would have suffered big losses, right? If you had done stuff like stock, Ivan didn't hit the stock exchange in terms of it didn't go to the ECSC and destroy it, right? Because it was done online. So you want to diversify just in case something happens, which we know how the way life is, something will happen. You don't lose all of your investments. So before we go down to that, I want to just share a story I heard. I do believe I mentioned it in the first episode, where I was listening to a man give his nephew advice on gaining wealth. And something he said, which I found was also in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. It spoke about you use your assets to make income, and then you use the income that the assets make to enjoy life. We don't necessarily do that. We enjoy life on the one asset, which is our salary, and we live life. YOLO, you only live once, right? And we live in a society that thrives on enjoyment. When it comes to a lime, a hang, a party, carnival, just think about it. Anything fun, we did. Even in Christianity, we like fun. That's not a bad thing. But as we would have been speaking for the past few weeks, we eat into our seed and we don't allow it to grow. And that's not what we want. Okay? So use your income to buy generating assets, and then use the income from those income generating assets to have some fun. That's part of the foundation of investments. Now, I did a mini survey, I want to call it, on Facebook, because every time people hear that I'm in the field of finance, the first thing they ask me is, yeah, let's teach her what investments are. And it's mostly the men. They always want to know, teach them what investments are. So I was sitting as I was preparing for this episode, and I was like, you know what, it would be interesting to know what they consider investments to mean. So I did a little survey on Facebook, and I asked people, when you hear the term investment, what do you mean? And what I expected to get was not what I got. I actually got what investment was. And it was surprising to me that that's what goes through people's mind, because when they ask me, that's not what they ask. So they spoke about putting aside money for it to grow over a long period of time. They spoke about bonds and stock and all these equities and different things. And I thought it was interesting because when the men come to me, you know what investment are, they tend to think trading on the stock exchange, whether it's the UK, the US, the Japanese, the Chinese. That's what they talk about, because we hear a lot about digital assets and forex and all these different things, and that's where they tend to go, because their mindset is, why working for can work, I need some money now. And the first thing I want you guys to know, I say the first thing a lot of times because there's a lot of first things, is that investment is a long-term strategy.
Yeah.
We need to consider that. It's a long-term strategy. If you go into investing thinking it's to acquire funds now, quick, fast, because I'm frustrated with my life, no, you have the wrong concept. And it's important that we deal with our mindset first where that is concerned, because if we think no, then we take too much risk and we tend to lose the money. So before I go on, do you guys want to interject anything here?
Well, what crossed my mind as you spoke was this: if you make an investment and there is a way you can, somehow protect the investment, because if you're talking about real estate, for example, and you buy property or properties and you own them, and let's say you don't owe the bank, so you had cash, maybe maybe somehow you got some monies from your parents, probably a life insurance policy, whatever it is. Sometimes people get um large sums of monies that they weren't even prepared to
Mm-hmm.
use. So that drop into your lap now and it's like, okay, what do I do with it? And you might say it's an investment, but yet so that is still keep watering it, so you could grow. But some people just
True.
want to put it in one place and then just expect it to just continue to grow and I cannot forget it. I know they have these types, but if you're talking about real estate, basically I was saying insure it if you can, because if a storm pass, then you would lose everything.
True.
So I was just thinking about how do you, I guess that's, I would think that way naturally.
Yeah. For me, what what I was more focused on was when you mentioned about buying assets,
Mhm.
right? To make money, I believe it's what you said, right? Along the lines that an investment is in it entails having or investing in some instrument
Mhm.
that makes money, and I don't think at times we really understand the whole asset component of the investment. And people think once you, for example, people see the property as an investment. um, and I say that on the backdrop that all they're doing with their property is living in it. They're not making any money from it, right? So is that truly an investment, um, to someone that takes out a mortgage and builds a house, as compared to say someone that takes out a mortgage, builds a house, and they have two apartments that they're making money from? So I think the asset part of the investment is something that we probably need to gain more understanding of and a better appreciation as it relates to what exactly do you really invest your money in. And that would more be for, not to jump the gun, but if you're looking at real estate per se.
Okay, those are very interesting. I like where you guys' minds are going. But just before we move forward, just on mention protecting your assets, and I thought it was funny we didn't speak about insurance in part of the key principle, because that's important, that you be able to protect your earnings. And when I say earnings, not just your income, but the things that you spend your monies on
Mhm.
that generate income, so your assets. It's important that you protect them because things happen and you don't want losses to eat away at what you're trying to build. So investment, for those who listened last week, is not investment, sorry, insurance is another aspect of the key principle. It could be applied to the group principle as well. So keep that in mind. And we have our resident insurance broker here. So if you guys ever need advice, DJ Saby is the guy to speak to.
Easy
I think
brokerage.
you can see DJ Sabi, on the radio. When
You
I'm on
gotta
the
say
radio,
easy.
when you're on the radio, I'm DJ Sabi. But if you're
Well,
talking,
that's why I'm referencing you. I'm referencing you.
you have to
But
say
if I
easy.
say
You have to say
what's
easy brokerage. You go on the internet and search
Yeah,
www.easybrokerage services.com. You could contact them. They will help you.
easy
If I'm the
brokerage,
guy on
man.
the other side, then praise the Lord, you found that good guy.
well, I did say our resident
Yeah,
insurance
yeah,
broker.
yeah,
So,
right.
so he just did his own ad. So, guys, if you need any protection for your assets, go to
That's a good
easybrokerage services.com.
company to talk with.
All right. So let's jump right into it. The seven streams of the seven. Listen, I was going to say seven streams of income. The seven investment types that we have are stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, index funds, options, and real estate. I went through it quick because there are four I'm not going to talk about because it doesn't directly apply to us. There are some persons who have the ability to do so because they probably have a social security in the US or they found some workaround, which will be too lengthy to talk about here. So I'm going to focus on the ones that are easier for us in Grenada to utilize, and those are stocks, bonds, and real estate. Right? So, just as we know with the rise of digital currency and all of that, people are more leaning to trading stocks and stuff online or trading forex or whatever it is that they choose. Now that is done via the trading platforms, which I'm not going to go into because, like I said, it's way too much. But they use trading platforms and overseas brokers to be able to manage their assets and their investments and to trade on stocks and all of that to make monies. There are a lot of people overseas who have become millionaires from doing this because they have undergone the proper education, understood risk management and their risk appetite and all of that to know what is best to do. For people who are interested in that aspect, I do strongly suggest that you get educated and not just jump in. And when I say educated, I don't mean sit down for a month and learn something. Just as you would invest in a degree or some kind of certificate for advancement, invest in proper time and education to learn how to trade stock properly, because you may get frustrated with the losses if you don't understand it. So for those who are interested in that area, I suggest you do some searches on YouTube and Google and all of that and find out proper brokers, how it is that you can get your funds in Grenada, because that's another issue. I'm saying issue, it's not impossible, it's just that there are a lot of hurdles to climb over. When you do find the avenue for trading Forex, trading NASDAQ, and trading all these different equities and assets and all of that, gold, metal, all the things that you're interested in. When you find a proper platform, you find a proper broker, be very, very vigilant and diligent to understand if you are able to get your funds here, because you don't want to be trading and you've made a lot of money and then, oops, you can't get it in Grenada because of issues with transferring and then with FIU and all of that, right? So it takes a lot of research. So that's all I'm going to say on that topic. Now, for the Caribbean, it's easier because we have a Caribbean platform, which we mentioned in one of the previous episodes, the ECSE, which is the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. And that one, you could go to ecseonline.com and look for the different assets that are traded. They usually do stocks, they do bonds, and bonds in the form of company bonds and government bonds. So we have notes and commercial paper. And those are traded as securities and equities on the ECSE platform. Now we have a broker in Grenada, that's the Grenada Cooperative Bank. And they have agents you can go and speak to when you've accumulated funds. I'm not talking like in the US, they tell you to take $10 and invest. That's not applicable to ECSE. Because if you take $10 and invest, that's your fees. Not even covering the fees, right? So it's not like that. And it's not one where you could do the trading for yourself. It has to be managed by a local broker, which is the Grenada Cooperative Bank. So you go into them and you discuss with one of their investment persons. They would check everything out, see how much funds you have, talk to you about the different options. Let me don't say options because options is an investment type. The different assets available for you to trade or invest your funds into. You have all your list of questions. Make sure do proper research. Ask questions, find out what's most feasible to you. Then you open your brokerage account and then you select which investment type you want. You begin trading with whichever company, right? That is done, like I said, through the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited. Now, the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, it's like it says, Eastern Caribbean. The Eastern Caribbean countries all came together on this platform to be able to trade their companies' stocks and assets and all of that. So we have countries from St. Kitts, Nevis, Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, those kind of islands, where the bigger companies like Grenlec, Domlec, the utility ones, some of the bigger real estate companies, they're all on their trading stock for the company. When I say stock, it's where they put up a certain certificate for a fee that you buy. The monies they get from it, they use it to do whatever in their company, whether increase extend the building, whatever it is they use it for. But then as the company makes profits, you get a share of that profit. That's where the term shares came from, and it's paid out in dividends. You get paid based on the contract. I forgot the name of it that you sign with them. They have all the regulations and payout dates and percentages and all of that you get back. The thing with it, as we would have mentioned before again, to be able to benefit greatly from it, you have to invest a lot of money. So it's not $100 investment. You understand? And the percentages are not you invest and you get 50%. No, the percentages are small, which means to be able to benefit and you want to get checks in the $2,000 area, you have to invest a couple $1,000 well. Okay, so don't think of it as a get rich payout. And but if you decide to go that option, my suggestion would be when you get those monies, you put them aside for something. Don't just go spending it, right? Or you leave it for you leave the stock to be able to be transferred to your children or your grandchildren or something like that. So that's how the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange works out. Like I said earlier, if you are interested, I suggest you speak to one of the representatives at the Grenada Cooperative Bank, and they'll be able to better advise on how to go about starting investing in that avenue. Guys, anything you want to say?
No, we're learning.
Yeah, that's learning already.
Okay, so that's a stock aspect of it. Then we have the bonds. Bonds are both notes and commercial paper. Notes being bonds which are issued by governments, and you know those ones, people tend to lean towards those because it's more secure. And let me just interject here by saying investment, listen to God and Saby. Investments are risky. Do not go investing, like you don't go take out your pension and decide you're investing to multiply it. Right? You invest in something that you're willing to lose. And I'm that may not be the best thing to say, but hear what I'm saying.
It sounds strong, but
it sounds strong, but if you know that you're hanging on a wing and a prayer with this money, and if you come through, then crap will smoke your pipe, please go and open a credit union account and maybe get some interest on it. Don't, because you just never know what could happen. Okay.
So you have
now
to know.
these.
No, just saying you have to know yourself. Like you see, know what type of persons you are. Person you are when it comes to taking a risk. You understand? Because there's some people like, okay, we talk about that before. Got your view on the money. You know, like some people don't really put money so high. They just see it as a tool, and that's what they see it like their life, their mindset, and their thinking and how they see it. It is not something that they they have it to that tight fist now. Some people are a little more liberate with the money. So even though they lose it, they won't lose their self.
Yeah.
So you have to know.
It's not the end of the world.
Basically, I mean, you have to know if you really love it or if you're being foolish, if you're being wise. You know, so you get where I'm coming from. These are the internal qualities. So how you deal with external things matters, basically.
And that's what you're speaking about is actually your risk appetite. And I briefly mentioned it, I didn't go into it, but it basically tells you through certain assessments the kind of investor you are, whether you're aggressive or whether you're conservative. You know, what are you willing to do, or whether you're a risk averse person where, sorry, that ain't for me, or I could lose a little, or it don't matter to me, I'm going head in. You need to know what your risk appetite is to know what sort of investments best suit you. It doesn't matter the type of appetite you have, there's always an option. If you're risk averse, then we just know that you won't take any risk, so you don't invest. You put in a savings account, right? If you're more conservative, there are options for you. You may decide you would go into certain stocks and bonds, and the options that are presented on the ECSC, I can't say with certainty, but these are secure companies. They always give a payout, even if it's small. And you need to understand that if the companies have losses, you would not get a dividend. Not that you'll necessarily lose your investment, but you just would not get a payout when the dividend payout date comes around. So you need to know. And then if you're more of the aggressive type, well, you're the person that's going to find a way in the other bigger markets, and you're gone and you're doing your Forex and you're doing your different assets, and you're just going in and you're managing it for yourself. So there are options available for whatever type of risk appetite you have. Like I said, and I want to repeat this, and I want you guys to really listen. Do your research and invest in the education necessary to understand it before you do it. Okay? It's absolutely necessary that you do that.
Yeah, don't come and say we told you from the money talk to go and invest your money in there, and then when you know things turn a certain way, you wanna say, well, we tried and you said it. We didn't say it just so.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add any insurance also gives you that kind of option. There are types of policies. There's what you call a participating policy or non-participating policy. Most people buy non-participating policies mainly because it's cheaper. When it talks about being participating, all it says is that it pays you dividends from the company. So there are companies like that, and there are different types of insurance companies, which you could talk about some other time. But real quick, if you do purchase a participating policy, what that does for you in years to come, every year you'll be able to get a certain amount of money extra from the insurance company. Yes, it might cost you a little bit more, but every year you will get something, you know. But in my
Okay.
years of selling insurance, every time you tell someone I bought a participating policy, it's now that costs more money. We didn't want that.
Mm-mm.
You know, you try to explain to them, but sometimes they don't really see it. And I don't blame them. But it's one of the things I just saying you can add this. So next time you speak to your insurance person, you can always ask them to explain that for you and give you some more details and make a good decision based on, you know, what works best for you and based on what you have in mind. Every little dollar matters. It don't matter how long, but if you take a little bit and you extend it over a period of time, you realize a little bit is actually a lot. So
True.
sometimes you head all in for the big returns, and then you're greedy and get nothing in return.
And as he said that, the last statement, you need to manage your greed. That's not the best way to say it, but because we spoke about greed, and that's why I cannot stress this enough.
They say manager
Education,
greedy.
you do,
I want
because
to
when you're when you're when you're greedy in the investment arena, you lose because you want to
use
get it quick, and then
quick,
you
yeah,
take bigger risks because you put in more,
more,
and you
yeah,
don't listen. This thing has so much aspects to it that if this show is not enough, you guys need to do an
yeah.
entire series on investment. And
Hmm.
I would suggest that you speak to one of the brokers at Corp Bank to see if they'll be able to come on,
Okay,
because I
okay.
think our people need to be more educated on that. It's not
Hmm.
something we know about. It's not something we do. We tend to do investments in terms of real estate, which is what I'll get to.
Yeah.
But I thought it was necessary to mention this because last week one of the listeners spoke about racism, I believe it was, and how our race has certain
The mindset.
is right.
Mm-hmm.
And he was completely right, because when you look at the way people in other countries look at investment, it's a thing. For us, it's not. So when we do insurance, it's not because we want to, it's because we don't have a choice.
True.
Part of the law is you need insurance for your vehicle. So we come to
Yeah,
an
become
insurance
great.
person
Yeah.
to get insurance for the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
When a mortgage is done, because hardly anybody ever does a house on cash,
Mm-hmm.
when you go for a mortgage, part of the requirements is that you have insurance. So when we do insurance, it's not because we decided, listen, part of my legacy would be this, let me go look for insurance. No, it's because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when we do a loan, yes, they ask for house insurance, but you need certain loans for education and stuff like that. You need a life insurance policy.
Definitely.
So we
Definitely.
never just jump into insurance because we want to. It's because the people tell us we have to, so we go ahead and do it,
Yeah.
right? So
I
it's
mean, mentality needs
important.
to change.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm getting to. It's very important that our mentality changes. Unfortunately, it's not just going to be done overnight. It takes a lot of talking, repeating things
Yeah.
that you think people
Education.
will know, educating,
Mm-hmm.
hit the ground running. Because if our mindsets do not change 20, 30 years down the line, the children that are born now would be doing the same things that we are complaining that we've seen previous generations do.
Yeah.
So, mhm,
Sorry. Just to back up a bit, when you spoke about the managing your greed,
mhm.
this is why you have people benefiting. I would say off of persons that can manage their
That
greed,
cannot manage your grade. Real.
because they offer you something that looks, well, it is too good to be true,
True.
but because you can't manage the greed, you go after it,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a field day with you
You're
and your
blinded by
investment.
you're blinded by the big.
They make these promises which
Mm-hmm.
are unrealistic, but people, because they can manage their greed, They go after it because they get rich quick. They want to put in $1,000 and get $10,000 by the end of the month,
Tell
right?
me
And
if that doesn't sound
before
just
you turn around, you have zero.
But I mean,
right.
I've seen a friend of ours. Um, he put in some monies, and when you look at his account look well. But I'm not sure if it was just figures on the screen, or if it was actual money.
Hmm.
And then later on, it's like the money's disappeared,
Yeah.
and then the man broke down. He lost it. He gave his life to Jesus. So you see, he had to turn to the Lord. Yeah. But that's the kind of thing that happens sometimes. Maybe God had to use that as a way to get his
Hmm.
attention. Praise the Lord.
Hmm.
But you have something like the money talk that you didn't have then. So if you're listening now,
True
you
that.
could glean something from it to help you to make good
True that.
decisions.
And even before we continue, for all the listeners, guys, this is a very, very important program, right? Um, we don't like to talk about money as Black people. We don't like to talk about money as Christians. But anything that is hidden in the dark, it gives you it has some level of power over you.
Yeah.
So when you shine a light on those areas and you become educated and you start to debunk myths and all these things, you would see people beginning to embrace the conversations more and beginning to apply the lessons to have changes that are evident in their lives. So I think it's very important for us to consistently always talk about money in the biblical aspect, like you guys have biblical perspective on money, so we'd be able to do things the right way to see the benefits. We like to pray about the God of the cattle on 1,000 hills and oh,
Hmm.
prosper and be in good health as our souls prosper. And yes, that is true, and that is all well and good, but we neglect all of the principles that the word tells us to follow to see that God of the cattle on 1,000 hills come through for us, and to see us living in health and prospering as our souls prosper. Here's what I say. If you have billionaires like Elon Musk and multimillionaires like the Facebook guy being able to acquire wealth, yes, they're not Christian, but I don't know, but I don't think they went and prayed to whomever they serve to get the money. They put in work
Yeah.
and saw the results. And if we follow the examples, I'm not saying to do exactly what they did. I don't know what they did. But if we look at principles and
Principle.
apply them,
That's it. Principle.
yeah, Solomon gave us principles to apply, and he was wealthy. And the Elon Musk of this world can't even compare to the wealth that he had. If
Yeah.
we apply these principles, I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, a billionaire, but you could live a life that's financially free, whatever financially free looks like to you.
Yeah.
So that's why money talk is important. It teaches principles, and yes, the guys have fun and they laugh and all of that, but you need to be able to pull out what they're saying and apply it to your lives to see changes in your finances. It's nice to comment. It's nice to say that was a good show, that was a good talk, all of that. But what are you doing with the information that you got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
like.
mhm.
Sorry. I like
Go
this
back.
comment. I like this comment here. Some people say that the system is rigged against the lower income because to meet all the conditions for loan approval to start an investment is impossible. Elaborate.
And we got
I well, God would.
So it's
I would
more of
leave.
a
we leave
question.
God to hit that one first.
No. Let me hit it last. Let me see
Oh,
what I have to say a little bit on it before he comes on. But I agree. I agree. I wouldn't. I don't know if this is if it's to say the system is rigged, but I do believe that a lot of things need to change with the system to make it easier for people to invest and to start businesses and all of that. Because when you look at big hotel chains who get the term just
concession.
slipped me,
Concession.
concession,
Mhm.
right? And then you have the solopreneurs. Those are the one man people who get hit on the foot with taxes. How could this be right?
The question mark over that one, right? Yeah.
Yes, but this is not from my personal opinion. So Garth, you take over.
Wait,
Well,
let me drop something there too, guys. And it's amazing how they would the person that is that's how somehow doing well in business, the banks basically finds out you're not even banking with that bank, and that bank will find out how you're doing and call you and offer you money
Mm-hmm.
so you could keep doing business because you're doing something that's working. But the small man that comes with an idea, well drafted out and well planned out, asking for money to make his idea become a reality, sometimes he's met with challenge. Oh, you have this, you have that, and you have these and that in America and other parts of the world. They invest in ideas that make sense. I'm not sure the same thing happened here in Grenada. But God will lead to talk now.
Well, there's so much that could be pulled from that. Eh? First off, I don't believe the system is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
I believe as a young person or an individual looking to start off, you have a lot of things that are not going your way.
Mm.
There's a high probability that you don't have any security because your family never put anything in place for you. So you're starting from rock bottom. You're coming with an idea that has not been tested, which makes it even more risky to invest in you or to give you a loan. And then a lot of times, you are not prepared to go to the bank, right? So you come with an idea, but you can't go to the bank with an idea. You need to bring a business plan, right? You don't have a business plan in place. There are certain documents that they would require. You don't have these things in place. So I'm going to put a different spin on it. I believe a lot of times the groundwork is not done when we approach in the bank, and as a result, we say that the system is rigged, right? Now, why a bank? Yes, I have on my banking hat, but but why a bank will go after a customer that is performing is because they see that this customer is doing something right, right? Now, you as an individual starting up, there are things you can do to impress the bank. Have you done a little market research? All right. Have you done your groundwork? How competitive would what you be offering be compared to the others? Have you done any work, or did you just wake up this morning with this brilliant idea? You understand? So it's not that the system is rigged, but are you really prepared to go before a financial institution or an individual
Mm-hmm.
and ask for monies to buy into this idea? Remember, it's just an idea, eh? And when that idea hit the market, chance there might be a probability that people don't like this thing. In your mind, you see it working, but when it's people to support it, people to buy into it, and that's when it will become profitable. And people don't like this thing. It's like your stew tastes good, but to me, I making better stew than that. You know.
Denny, that's a well calculated response. And that
So
response came with plenty experience.
I
Yes.
was gonna say a lot of people came to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
so I want us to move away from the thinking that the system is rigged,
Mm-hmm.
because that is something that you have heard over the years. And when I sit back and I analyze it, I find more and more we're having ideas, but we're not putting in the groundwork
Make it work.
to make it
Mm-hmm,
work.
mm-hmm.
We're not working, doing the background work that when we go before the loans officer, we can show them a look. This is why I believe this could work.
That's a very good response. And while you were talking, all I can think about is the bank themselves also are taking a risk to give you money, and obviously they want to make money from the money that they give to you. So at the same time, I mean, come good. I agree. I agree, with my partner. I agree, with my partner. I agree.
Yeah, a lot.
Come good if you're coming.
Come good.
Yeah.
A lot of times well, I know this is a mentality that we have,
Mm-hmm.
that the people with the name get through.
Mm-hmm.
But Sabi, if your son come to me and I know Sabi is a successful businessman,
Yeah.
and if his son fail, he father go bail him out.
It would. Well,
You understand?
making sense. But well, what we find though, in I guess you have to look at our culture, right? Then you have to look at
Yeah.
our culture, and oftentimes you realize apparently when people start with a little shop in a particular location, you get money. If you put it together wisely and you say, okay, I'm buying stock and you come up with some monies, you might get something faster. You might want to buy a boat and you live in a particular location and you can show the bank how you're going to sell your fish and you come up with the idea. You might get money. You go into agriculture, you might get monies. You understand? I'm just bringing it down to what we see every day.
Hmm.
But God, there are times persons may come up with a rare idea, boy.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't see it working. Maybe the person can show you everything and you still probably can't see it working.
And
That's
I've seen those, huh?
yeah,
I've
that's
seen
that's the
those.
question I'm gonna
I've
ask. You
seen
know, you
those.
as a loans officer in that position, we're talking about investment which the individual wants to make same way still. So you in that position, like you might see the seed, but you are superior. Superior can't see it. What do you do?
I've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple projects I've seen that they've come to the institution, and for various reasons the institution just didn't buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
But the persons didn't give up at that
That's
point,
a good thing to say,
right?
right?
They found a way to start up,
Mm-hmm.
and is like looking at the projects now. I believe any institution will fund them if they so desire.
And that's a good point. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't get someone to fund you, but you take in if you believe in what you
Hmm.
see so much. Don't give up and say, there's a reason why they say the cemetery is the richest place in the world.
Yeah.
You know, have I heard that one, Denny?
I have. It came from was Miles Monroe said that? I don't
Yeah,
know who
yeah.
said it,
One
but
of my old boss years ago said that, and he said so much people die and go to the cemetery with wealth of knowledge and
Hmm.
ideas. Millions of dollars in their head. So you have to do the best you can to see what you're seeing in your mind, your vision, what you're envisioning to make it a
Hmm.
reality. And
True.
if it boils down into your investment, then by all means, everybody different and we all like different things. We all, we're not the same. What interests Denny doesn't interest me. And same thing for God. So,
True that.
if I'm not giving us if I'm not giving
because I was gonna say, I mean, after Saint B spoke, I concede, right? But I understand what he's saying because just the same, like if somebody comes to you and you when you do your assessment, you don't see how
yeah,
exactly
please get
what they're
what
asking
you
you
said.
makes sense. You need to protect yourself.
Of
At
Yeah.
course.
the same time, though, I do believe there is some truth to what he said, even if you explained it, because there are some policies which could be changed or which could be they could have oh my god, these terms are slipping me today, where you have investors who, just as how you provide funds, big investors provide funds to help certain low income areas. I do believe there are some policies which could be put in place to help micro businesses to
Mhm.
start up properly, and then you do assessments to see how they progress, and if you decide it's not worthwhile, then you pull funding or whatever. But I do think there are certain things that could still be done to help micro businesses grow.
Yeah.
Rigged is a strong term, but I do stand by that point that
And,
there are
and
certain things that could be done.
I would just leave this last this last part here. There is a lot of funding available.
How to get it?
I don't think we even know
We
about
don't
it,
know.
and I think that's the
That's a
problem.
problem.
We are not seeking out the information. We are, as to how can we access these funds,
Mm-hmm.
because there are funds outside
I
there,
could tell
but
you
a
about
lot of
one now.
time people just with a conventional, you go to the bank, you go to the credit union,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are funds out
There's one
there.
now, God. There's a green fund available right now at GIDC.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it
try to
have
get
it have
someone from
funded
GIDC to
it
come on the talk to the money talk to talk about the green fund.
it have funds out there, guys. Exactly what you're speaking about, Denny.
Mm-hmm.
Micro small businesses.
But of course, I mean, the good thing about this organization is that they might see your grand idea and help you bring it to life.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing with that particular organization. So We're talking about investing, we're talking about keeping the money, and we're talking about growing the
How
money
about
still,
growing
eh?
the money here?
Yeah. And sometimes to grow the money it starts with an idea.
The idea.
You know, not sometimes but all the time. To even get the money you need to have an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you with us?
Yeah.
I'm
Just
with you.
hold on, Denny. Just to throw in this last bit for my partner there, right? You see, when we're talking about investment, we are not talking about consumer loans. So when you're looking for monies for investing, it is a whole different approach
Mm-hmm.
to if you go to the bank and you want money to go and travel. You understand? So the bank might just say, okay, you're making $1,000 a month, you can pay back $200. We give you the money. We take a lien on your salary. But when you're looking for money for investing, we have to look at the investment that you want to get into and what sort of returns you will get from that. So your salaries might be up there, but that is not what the focus is on, right? And I think that is why the listeners, um, including the comments like property, cash, deposit, business plan, is you know.
Talking about the fees, man. Talking about the fees.
Yeah, we also, and it comes down to education.
Yeah.
We have to understand that when you're looking at investment financing or business financing, is a whole totally different ball game to a regular consumer loan that is based on your salary.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for me.
All right, then. The man just moved to the center of the goalpost and opened his hand like that.
Yes, because he spoke about everything else I have on my list.
Yeah.
So I think we could end the show here. But honestly, though, I like that he spoke about education because we forget that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to go with what people say, what the masses say, what we hear through the grapevine. When it comes to investment, this is a serious matter. And nothing beats educating yourself about it. There's nothing that whatever investment venture you go into, and it may have sounded off script, but it's Garth and the listener just jumped the script because business is one of the
Real.
biggest investment areas in Grenada. It's what we do the most. Real estate is another big one. And interestingly, Grenada is known as one of the most attractive investing opportunities in the Caribbean. I don't know in where, but the island is very ripe for investing. And yes, it's easy to say that we don't know, but as one of an old boss told one of my coworkers, you have to know what you don't know. Okay? So you not knowing it does not exclude you from consequences. Okay? If investing is what you want to know about, do some research. It's going to take a lot of research. You have to put yourself in programs that you feel are best suited for you and learn what you need to know. So, yes, we covered stocks and bonds. We go into real estate and business because that's what is most common in our society. So we have everybody doing businesses. Business is an investment because it's your money working for you. When the business starts making the money, it's up to you to invest in the proper education, invest in you. Okay, that's the greatest investment there is. I probably should have started with that. But invest in you because if it's your business idea and you're the visionary behind it and you're the one manning it from the background, if it if you are not properly positioned for it to grow, then the investment would flop. And that's what Saint B was speaking about with the banks being able to do their assessment for what is the best investment for them because it's a risk for them as well. And yes, your idea may be beautiful and it may be nice, and we don't disagree, but have you invested in the groundwork to make it into a profitable investment, a profit to get profitable returns? And just as a business owner, you need to keep developing, you need to research your market, you need to transition with the times. And that's another area I don't think many business owners in Grenada take seriously. It's being able to change with times. Look how the pandemic came and it made us have to force to do a lot of things online. When people were trying to do online a while now and there was such a negative perception towards it, and then look at things now, a lot of things are online. People ain't going outside, even if we're allowed to, unless they really have to. If it could be done on Zoom, don't call me into a building,
Yeah.
right? So we need to be able to transition, and there's nothing that beats education. So we have businesses as one. There's a lot of business opportunities. We tend to just bootleg other people's ideas. So when you see somebody selling barbecue on one corner, you turn a few corners, and there's somebody else's one that would have probably been the first barbecue in the area. There are so many different things we could do, and as business persons, people who are interested in it, it's important to know about niching for your market. You need to do the proper research, the proper
True.
education into your idea to see what works best. Yes, barbecue is a beautiful thing, but with the vegan move, what about if you barbecue or grill vegetables instead? I'm not saying go grill vegetables, eh? Don't say I tell you to do that. But I'm just saying, how about you try to capitalize on an area, maybe within the same market that has not been explored, right? And see how you could make the most profits off of it. So there are lots of different things, and nothing beats education. Education seems to be the theme of today's session, right?
Yeah.
Every single investment opportunity that you venture into, you need to invest in educating yourself on it. Because this isn't about, okay, so I'm giving $5 into Susu and I'm getting $5 back. No, there's a lot more involved in it. You want more than $5. So you need to be able to maximize that. And closely related to that, we have real estate. Everybody in not everybody, but just for the sake of the discussion, everybody and their mother has is doing some kind of real estate investment. That's as Gaspard mentioned when he was speaking about assets. You have an apartment building on your property. That's real estate investment,
Mm-hmm.
where you're making your house, which is your asset, make money for you. And yes, we've been taught that when you have a house, it's an investment, but if the house is costing you, then it really is not.
Yeah.
Okay. It's taking from you. An asset is something that puts money in your hand. If the house is not putting money in your hand, then it's not really an asset. And yes, you may say, okay, it increases the property value, and I understand all of that. But when you're in need, are you really going to sell the house to make money back? So you need to consider certain things like that. So we have the most common thing: apartment buildings. We have apartments for every single thing. Did we talk about apartments for locals on one episode?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
we
once
touch
when I
on
was telling you there's a niche there
mm-hmm.
that
Right.
a lot of
the, ba-
persons.
the bachelor's niche.
Yeah,
Niche.
the bachelor,
Niche, yeah.
that one bedroom
Yeah.
night rest type accommodation.
I saw something like it the other day, and I was amazed that
Yeah.
like this piece was just a little bit bigger than this room here,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a bed, and I was like, okay, it was so neat and small and well put together.
Yeah.
You understand? But if you're there, you're gonna be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see the market for apartment rentals, and he has niched it down to bachelor pads. Single people. There are lots of apartments that don't take pets, and then we have those they don't allow children in. Find the problem and solve it. Wherever
Yeah.
you see something has been an issue, and I think we overthink business and investment. If there's something that you're looking for and you can't find it in Grenada, that's an opportunity for you to start a business. Don't
Yeah.
just go start it because I said that's an opportunity. Do your proper research and see if it's feasible, and then you can start a business off of it. That's an investment area. In real estate, back to real estate, I'm going to be jumping in real estate and business because you could do real estate as a business in several different areas. So Saby or Saint B, one of them were talking about GIDC, and GIDC has a lot of opportunities for people to invest in Grenada. So we would have mentioned the ECSE online. That's for when you want to do those kind of instruments. But then we have for when you want like something more tangible, right? You have real estate and tourism, agribusiness, all of that. The GIDC is the place to go to, and you they've done their research. They do citizenship by investment programs, all these different things. We have a lot of foreigners coming into our country and investing. I think that's, if we just take a look at that as opposed to just complaining now, all these people coming here and buying up your property. If they come in here and buy up the property, you need to probably stop and think about why is it that they're buying up the property and how is it I can capitalize on what they are profiting from. Okay, so the GIDC is another resource that you could use. They do agribusiness, investment, tourism, education, health and wellness, ICT and energy. Just think about it. Any avenue you could think, any area you could think of, they have opportunities that you could capitalize on. They do a lot of educational programs. So when Saint B was speaking about from the bankers aspect, certain of the things that people come to the bank to do and they're unprepared, there are programs that prepare you. So after you've gone through it, now you're able to go to the bank and you will not be rejected because you have done the research and you're able to present them with a well thought out plan that has been tested. When I say tested, I mean in terms of research, and you've spoken to people, because sometimes the ideas look very cute in our head, but when you go to people, it's like, yeah, honey, that ain't gonna work. You probably need to revamp that and come back again. Yeah. So there's just a host of things available to us. I do think that it's not readily available. Let me explain what I mean by that. We don't find the people that we surround ourselves with. And I'm saying we, that doesn't necessarily mean me. I'm just trying to make myself relatable to your situation. But we don't surround ourselves with people who provide us with opportunities, who provide us with the information for opportunities that are available. So I remember something I was looking at one time, and GIDC had this business startup something. It was a week of lives on Facebook and all of that. And it was free. And you didn't even need to register. They were streaming it on their Facebook page. I jumped on one time and there were hardly any people on there. And I'm thinking, this thing is free. Why would you not want to capitalize on it? But people don't know. They don't know, but they don't follow GIDC page. Or they don't go to the GIDC website, or they don't make a call. So you need to be able to put yourself in places where the information is available. You're listening to this program, Saint B is right there, and he is talking about all the things that are necessary. Figure out a way to get to him to find out what it is you need to know, because he seems to be one of the people that know. Surround yourself with the knowers so you can benefit from it for a little bit. I want to hear you guys.
What you can do back on the GIDC thing, you can call them and just give them your email address. That's simple. And they will be glad to send you an email. They add you to their mailing list. And each time they have something, whatever it is they're offering, since I've been, Denny, a lot of years now, GIDC have my email. Like a lot of years. Let me tell you guys a little secret about GIDC that worked for me. And this time was when I was in insurance. And I was like, boy, insurance crashed. Basically, I was working with this company, Clico, and things went sour for a while. And I was like, what do I do at this point? Because that's where I started my life. And my wife, Aunt from Trinidad, called me and she told me to go to the port and learn how to do customs brokerage. So I was like, what is this woman telling me about? I have no interest in that. And I didn't take her on the second time, but the second time she told me was after a time I did a QuickBooks course in GIDC, which I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, to be honest. They're offering it free. So I just went and sat and I get lunch and all that. I was like, I had nothing to do, so what's the big deal? So I went and I considered it. And from that time, they got my email address. So they offered this customs brokerage course. And I was like, boy, things tight. I'm gonna last $300 or $500 in my account. And I said, okay, $350 for the course, 1 week to learn this thing. And I made my mind up. I'm going to do this course, right? It's $350, but my $350 is not wasting. When I come from there, I need to make back that $350 many times. And I go through everything, and it was good. Then I met a lot of people that I knew. You make connection with people. You ask questions, so we say learn. And some people might think we mean go into a classroom and sit and learn. But you can learn. I can learn from God. I can learn from Denny. I can ask questions to her who has the knowledge. And when she give it to me, then I'm more knowledgeable to make good decisions. You understand? And I did that. And to be honest with you, to this day, I keep making 350 over and over and over and over. You get my point? You understand? So had I just not take that, and they still offer those type of course. Yeah. So, and that's a way you could actually start to do something on your own in your house with a computer, and there's a need for it. You know, to the point now where they bring the course up to $1,200. Do you know why?
The demand.
All right. So you have a question. You want to say something before you jump into it?
No. Go ahead.
My partner sent another question, but
Mhm.
one have us in class today. Right? Yeah. You see how easy it is to raise money by crowdsourcing to invest in Grenada. Crowd meaning what? The folks on the outside, many of them trying to invest in Grenada.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, the thing is I'm not too versed, but I believe in America there are these platforms where you can put up your idea and you get individuals to buy into it.
Okay.
So instead of going to the bank, you use one of these platforms, and I'm not sure if it's like shares you're selling them in the company or into the idea, or if they're just giving you the monies to start up. So I'm not 100% versed with how it operates, but I'm thinking it's something along that lines the listener is referring to. The thing is, I'm not sure how palatable the Grenadian man will be to invest in your idea.
Yeah, and that's again. I mean, God, would you be?
But
it has to make a lot of sense for you, right?
Yeah, but imagine you can buy into the company for $100 or $200 or $500. On one hand, you're investing. On the next hand, you're getting you're providing the financing needed for the individual to start up their business. I mean to say, if you get 1,000 people investing $500, that's how much? 500,000.
5,000. You say 1,000. Oh, 1,000.
1,000 people at 500.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 500,000. You understand? Imagine that. And that sets up. That should be sufficient fund to set up a medium to large company in Grenada. And once you start making monies, you can pay back these people. You pay them back with interest. You pay them dividends, etc. And you don't have to go to the bank.
And that way, discipline comes in, and knowing what you're doing and having the right plan in place before you jump to that, because you go into it thinking it's a good idea. When you start seeing money, you don't want to pay by the people. You end up in jail. You lose everything. They lose everything, and your life is a big mess for you.
But you as the investor, you're only losing a small $500.
Some investor will say that $500 is a lot for them, eh?
Yeah, well,
but something that crossed my mind also is if you have a good idea and the idea is yours, but people who like friends of yours, you may say, let's start a business together. So like 3 of us could come together and say, all right, Denny, I have this money. Then he may say, I have this idea. God say, I have this money, and we somehow find a way to make a partnership out of that, and pitch our the idea together. Yeah. So it don't always have to be you alone. 2 is better than 1 always. Yeah. Bible tell us that. Yeah.
True that.
So,
but just to jump in with what the listener was saying, it's not very common in Grenada, at least not as I'm aware of. But when he mentioned the crowdsourcing, it sounds similar to how mutual funds work. In that everybody puts in, it's like they just give up money into a pool or a company that then decides how the investments run, and then you get your returns from it. I know that's done in Barbados, is probably the only Caribbean country I'm aware of. Guyana does it. I'm not sure here.
Real quick, the MRI is like that time when I was talking about different types of insurance companies. The MRI Mutual Life, they're the only mutual company here in Grenada.
Okay.
You understand? But there's 2 types of mutual companies, and there are those that don't really give you back anything. And if the company goes down, that's the bad part about a mutual company. When it goes down, you as somebody who participates in it, you going down too. You understand? So you have to know. If you don't know and you get into it and things happen, you're asking yourself why, and that kind of drama. So very important. Sorry to call the name though.
Yeah. So I think we exhausted, but
More
the
than
topic go on.
more than enough. More than enough.
Yeah.
But I've covered everything I need to. I just wanted to go back to the theme that we've been talking about over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself. Like the
Mm-hmm.
guy said, education doesn't necessarily mean knowing a course. It could mean talking to people. It could be visiting your dear friend Google and
Mm-hmm.
Googling some information. I have found that when you're looking for information on Grenada or for the Caribbean, because we don't have a central database that provides the information that you would like,
Mm-hmm.
it helps to read a lot of the government reports.
Okay.
These things are boring to you if you are not interested.
Interesting.
Years ago, I would not have found myself downloading government reports and reading them. No, the information that's in them, you go
Yeah.
onto the gov.gd site and you go look for the documentation and you find the prime minister's speeches, the governor
Mm-hmm.
general. You
Mm-hmm.
look for when they do
Yeah. The budget.
visits and assessments and budgets. You don't
Yeah.
have to read it word for word or, but do a scan through. There's the things that we are complaining that we can't find is found in a lot of those
Then
reports.
he encourage you to get a report from the statistics department. What you find it would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is full of wealth.
Yes.
Mind blowing.
It is. Listen, the first time I read it. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that here. But
But
the
it's
information
important.
in there
Mhm.
is like key. Anybody wanting to start a business, that's a good place to
Just
start.
that.
Take it
Yeah.
from me.
Sure.
Yeah. So we look at those reports and we mention a lot of different companies and businesses and websites. More not websites, companies and businesses. Most of these have websites, and if not websites, they have reports. And it's in the mundane things that we don't like. That's where the gold is found. Okay, if you think about how gold is made, you ain't going to dig and find a piece of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it has to go through the process. So look for these. If investment is an area that you're interested in, look into those websites and get the resources needed. The statistics office, that's good resource as well. Find them and talk to people. The people at GIDC, they are willing to help you. You call if you have to make an appointment, you send an email. They always send out good resources with all
Mm-hmm.
this
That's nice.
information. But the path to winning with your money, where investment is the area of focus, you have to do the research. You cannot bypass that. You cannot say you're going to leave it for somebody else to do. A matter of fact, anything with money, you should not just be leaving it for somebody else to take care of. Even as I
Yeah.
like to say, if you have a business and you have an accountant, that's fine. I advocate for it. You need an accountant, but that does not mean that the accountant is the only person who should know what's happening with your business finance. You should know as well. You always need to know. And I think we try to run away from the difficult topics because we're uncomfortable with them. But being uncomfortable with it does not mean you're not able to learn it.
True.
And wherever it is that there's a need or you see the value in it, it doesn't matter if it takes you 6 years, while it may take somebody 6 weeks, you are going to invest in the time needed to learn about it. So do not shy away from investing. It's not something that's so familiar to our society to speak about, but it's not far removed from it. There are avenues, and we see the named folks, as we say, benefited from it because
Yeah.
they have done the research and they have educated themselves and they know what they ask people, they know what moves to make. Let's do the same. Let's not just keep thinking that, it's not going to work out for us. But if we're changing our money mindset, if we're having these conversations on a money talk, it would do you well to invest in the knowledge and to not let your 1.5 hours sometimes be wasted because we are talking about it and oh, okay, so they sound like experts. We sound like experts because we did the research. Okay. So invest in you, right? Invest in you. You are your greatest investment. So wherever the knowledge is found, go after it. Even if you have to sit in workshops, you have to sit in seminars, you have to listen to
Yeah.
this program, you have to talk to somebody. I have held workshops where Saint B was a part of it, and I'm like, boy, you don't need to be here. You know more than me.
Yeah,
but
man.
but he was there learning. And what I found is the people who are there seems to be people who know something, while I would like to have people who don't know,
Well,
but it's the people who are learning who seem to want to learn more.
still want
So
to.
surround yourself with these people, ask questions, and subscribe to the Hope FM channel. So whenever Money
Yeah.
Talk comes on, you
Yeah.
have that right there, because the guys really do go out of their way to make sure that top-notch information is disseminated to you. Okay,
Definitely.
right?
All
So
right. You got it. You got it. You got it. And don't forget to check out Excelsior, real quick right there. Let me just drop that one there for you.
Excelsior is a finance coaching and micro business consulting company established to facilitate the creation of personal wealth through the practice of financial management disciplines and business creation. We personalize experiences by offering a suite of tailored services which would enable persons to achieve both their financial and business goals. We are inspired when you advance financially.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
We are inspired when you advance financially. Then you have to do an ad for you, girl. I put in a deep tone.
You should,
We are
and
when you
I'm not
advance
fully
financially.
prepared for it, but I will send something for you because I will be hosting a 2-day free live webinar online,
Mhm.
and it speaks about how I forgot the topic, but it's not winning with money, maximizing your income despite your income category,
Yeah,
right? And we're going to be speaking about money. It'll be nice if the listeners could join in. When I have all of the information ready for you, I'm going to send it out, but it's during the first week of May. And like I said, it's free.
okay.
So there's no cost to it, and you pull all the benefits you want from it. But there are lots of questions and concerns that people usually have about finances. And it would be nice to come into a central place because now everybody logs into Money Talk.
Mhm.
So give
Yeah,
them an opportunity to ask questions, to learn, and to
right.
see certain things and strategies they could use to help them better see the full benefits of the money that they make.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
Well,
good.
that last 3 weeks, been rather excited. Again,
Yeah,
I will
man.
encourage the listeners and viewers, um, always go back and relook.
Mm-hmm.
You will see them. The thing look the same, but just look for, look for keep and look for grow
And grow.
as well. Go on to Hope FM Grenada YouTube's page, or you can go to Facebook, Hope FM Grenada, and you will see, the money talk for the last 3 weeks. God, hopefully next week we are successful with what we planning for the
Yeah,
next two
yeah.
weeks rather.
Hopefully.
So
Hopefully.
we trust God, because we really want to give you guys the tools and the ideas as we learn also how to make keep and grow money. Yeah,
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 man.
you understand?
Yeah. But
What the,
one thing I want to say as we close in Sabi,
mm-hmm,
the knowledge part that Denny, mentioned about in her conclusion there.
mm-hmm,
Um, it is something that has been on my heart recently.
right,
Knowledge,
yeah.
right? And a lot of times we pray for knowledge,
But
but we think
we don't go seeking for it.
we
No,
think
don't
that
go for it.
God go just
You just open it
impart
like
knowledge
whoosh, and you
onto
just
our
fall in the
minds.
head.
Serious,
Very, very true.
but I've come to the realize
You had
a
to put at the
realization
time.
that I had to go and find
Yeah,
it.
you had to put in the work. You
Right?
must.
You had to go out there and find it, and it doesn't just come so. You have to go out there and find it,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that is why a lot of people out there are benefiting from a lot of these principles
Yeah.
because they have done the research and they have the knowledge and they're applying the knowledge while we sitting down here and we praying God
For
bless
the
us with
knowledge.
knowledge.
Yeah.
You
And we still
understand?
want understanding too.
On top of that,
But something that crossed my mind and that is so interesting is that you don't have to get the knowledge that I need.
Mhm.
The thing that interests you, find out all you can know about it.
Yeah,
You understand? And
that's it.
that is going to strengthen you in the area
That's
where
it.
you're operating in. Not everything you do might be an investment to me. Well, it should be. You should try to
To you,
make
it
an
will be. Yeah,
investment in self. Making an investment in self is important.
yeah.
And if you have a business, you might be able to invest into tools that you can use But you still have to learn about the tools and how they work so they could work effectively for
Yeah.
you. You understand? So you must be willing to focus on your area. Yeah, don't try to go and focus on someone else's area. And there may be other areas that you need, but you only one person. So you may be, as then you rightfully say, in a business and you have an accountant, but you have no interest in accounting. It doesn't mean that you can't learn some basic stuff. But at the same time, no. If you try to do it all, you could end up, you'll lose yourself. So you need to know what you want to be strong or where you're strong naturally and strengthen that. And if you figure out, even though you learn about it, so for knowing sake, sometimes you can't do it all. So you may just need to still find the best person who knows the best about it
Yeah.
and let your money know that where you're working and doing what you're doing every day to make more help you to put your idea, your holistic idea, so you could flow it better, yeah, on a daily basis. Yeah. So then you wanted to say something, Neil.
Yes, that should be probably my final statement. Um, we know of the scripture, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge." That is applicable to every area of knowledge that helps to increase our lifestyle. No, we have spent the last, well, I have spent the last 3 weeks because the money talk would still happen. Okay. So we spent the last 3 weeks digging into principles that will help us to keep, and grow our finances. The onus is now on you to apply it. I have found when I did simple things, I think we complicate increase and we complicate wealth and all of that. But when you apply simple strategies and we think it's supposed to be something, I don't know, big and brain bombing, but no, very simple strategies, and you apply them consistently, you start to see changes. Something as simple as a budget. You do a budget, you see what's going on with your money, you see where you're spending too much, you make changes, small changes, and then you begin to see your income growing. Did it really grow? No, you just manage your expenditure. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that now that light has been shone on areas of your life where you probably were ignorant in, you have a responsibility to apply that knowledge, because this information, which is biblical, will stand against you, because now that knowledge has come, ignorance has to leave. So don't just take it as, yes, you listened for 3 weeks and this was good. I always say whenever I speak about money, that's not what I want. I don't want you to say this was good. That would help me in no way. Okay? Apply what you know. Then comment on the page and say, yeah, what's Saint B and them talking about works. Apply it. Even if it's one principle you can hang on to and you apply it and
Yeah.
see the changes in your finances, then you're able to challenge the financial God to work for you, because you're seeing the principles that he spoke about in his word are true.
Sounds good.
All right, so got I think we forget to say something when we started the program, but we want to tell the people thanks today, but we want to send a very special thank you to all the folks who helped make the hope walk possible.
Yeah, man.
Listen, man, the support was splendid. It was, guys, y'all did well. Yeah, y'all did well. I really, on behalf of management, I appreciate all you. I appreciate, I love all you. You understand? And I realized from that, God, that we are one big family. There's
Yeah,
a
man.
hope family on the rise in Grenada. You
Yeah.
understand? And God is the one who has given birth to that family. So if you're not yet part of the hope family, you need to be on board. Yeah. Membership is free. You ain't have to worry about paying anything to come and be a part of the family. Yeah. So a big thank you to all the patrons. The folks who came and walk. I'm telling you, as he said, me walking, at a point you get strength, you put it down on top of your back. Then if you see thing, you understand? But it was fun. It was fun. And one of the most amazing thing that I've seen is that the folks, like, I don't understand. Like, to me, I send me behind the truck, but some of these people, they left the truck
Gone.
and they gone. They were jogging granadas in a record breaking time. But we need to
Yeah.
have a sprint next time. We need to have a walk
a
again.
hope run.
Yeah, man, we need to have a hoop run, and we want to give a prize at the end. You
Yeah.
understand? Because, man, that was like, it was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And even to Saby, some
Mm.
other it's like people meeting me,
Mhm.
on walk in church. It's like I see all your walking boy. I
Yeah.
see all your walking boy.
It was
it's
nice.
like
It was
it was
nice.
good. It was good. It was good.
nice.
Yeah, y'all making me feel bad because when I see it, I was like, shucks, that was Saturday.
Yeah. You didn't say nothing. I mean, you come from your mouth.
Hey guys, but thank you for your
Thank
support.
you very much,
Thank you
folks.
for your
Yeah,
support.
man.
If
Denny?
you missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sabi, if they missed it, we have May 21st coming up,
Yes. So she's not excuse no.
Yeah, we have
May
May
21st.
21st.
We're
May
celebrating
21st.
Hope turns one.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well, that's the day that was in my mind, because somebody asked me and I was like, yeah, May 21st. And then I was like, hold on, wait, what?
You forget to walk in, you're going straight to the concert.
Yeah. I
That's
think that's what she wanted to come and
Yeah.
that's what she wanted to go. She wanted to go and walk.
But hear what? The same package money that I spent for the shirt,
Yeah.
make sure you double it up for the concert.
For the concert.
Yeah.
Right? Thanksgiving ceremony, we call it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're giving thanks to God on May 21st at the Springs Open Bible Church. Yeah, and trust me, it's going to be a grand time in the presence of the Lord.
Definitely.
I can imagine. I don't see it already. I believe it, everything. So all the folks who couldn't come to the walk because they complain, they didn't complain. So I say, listen, I'm buying a jersey, but you said I walked too long, One of my good friends on the live right now, she say, but I walk too long, but I also put on buy a t-shirt. We appreciate you and we love you for that. All right. Well, and we love you even though you didn't buy a t-shirt, not just only for that. Let me correct that. I need to have no reason to love nobody. I just have to love all you. All right. And I just love all you. Yeah. So, but we want to make sure, we could connect with the whole family. So see it as an opportunity to, see who are the other persons who listen to the station too.
Yeah.
So that's what we say. It's a big celebration. We're coming together, giving God thanks and praise for what He's doing through Hope FM here in Grenada. All right. So May 21st, Springs Open Bible Church from 6:30 to 10. Look out for the flyer. You will get some more information in this week. Yeah. And we're going to be nice. It's going to be nice. All right, God. But I want to say thank you. I really want to say thank you to Denny for taking the opportunity to come on the Money Talk. Me and Saint B could attest to. There are times when we're doing the Money Talk, you'll be like, boy, what again, boy? And then the girl line that puller there was like timely. Yeah. And we come back at you at some point again. But Saint B understand after doing how many episodes in me? About 30 episodes.
30 episodes.
After a while you ask yourself what again. So at this point in time your help was really, really timely and we really appreciate it. And we appreciate you and we love you just the same. All right. So
Definitely.
thank you. All right. If we could send some blessings, literal blessings your way. But yeah, that one on your bill in heaven,
Well, listen, don't you worry. People that be like, you're on Money Talk. Don't worry. It's like, I know your face. I see you somewhere. So,
That one is a principle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another principle. And that's something that does not need a big discussion, in that some people feel that everything they do, they need to get paid for it up front. But God have a way how He does do things. If Denny tell you this story, or we connected again, you'll be amazed. You understand? So that's a principle. Don't always do it for the money. Do it for the love. Be it because that's who you are. Personality comes into play. The money will come. Serve. When you want to be great, become a good servant. Any business you plan to get into, be the best server you can be there, and you will see what happens for you. It will open doors for you. People would realize how genuine you are, and they would tell people, and you would realize you're not even working very hard anymore because you learn a very key and important principle. All right. So God, now it's 7:40 and we have a sauce to go and drink. Let me just say to Lord because we partner might be listening and before long might wonder what's going on. Now we'll leave you out, bro. We'll leave you out. But guys, it was a pleasure being here today.
Definitely.
So see you again next week, Monday. Although it's a holiday, hopefully all goes well, and we'll be back with you again another time. It has been episode number
33
of the
Money Talk.
Money Talk. Let's go.
Money talk. Say the love of money is the root of all evil. Money talk. It's the money they love. Yo, cause them get caught up in the high thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money blinded. Them a get caught up in the high thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define them. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Money they love, money they crave. Love they have for money, make them turn into a slave. Money they want, that is the aim. Love they have for money, go drive them insane. It's money talk for this, money talk for that. If you say you got no money, them get heart attack. They want to know how much you earn, cause they were part of that. Got to learn to discern, you can't take it back. For them get caught up in a high thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money blind them. Them a get caught up in a high thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define it. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Money is essential, but the love for money that detrimental is to the